Alright, in this session we're going to finish up the tripartite division of the head, and then we're going to discuss some of the reference books of the face reading that I like very much, and then we're going to talk about the this very important concept in face reading at last. Alright, so I found the professional terms of the three types of the shape of the head or shape of the face in anatomy. So these are the this is from my old presentation. The three types are professionally called nerval temperament, nutritive temperament, osseous temperament. Honestly, I have no idea what osseous means, but that's fine. It is what it is. Just try to memorize them. If you don't memorize them, that is fine, because the professional terms are not very important in face reading. You just need to understand what this means. And this nerval temperament, apparently it's the inverse triangle, and broad and high forehead. That's the triangular type. And this nutritive temperament is the round type, and the osseous temperament is the rectangular type. And what this mean is here. For the osseous temperament, it means the person is realistic, active, persevering, have pioneering spirit, good at implementation and execution, bad at imagination, and all regular security fixing. Alright, so this presentation is for, I believe it's for, what's that for? Life diagram, feng shui. I think that's for the hotel management, which is why there is some the types of the job recommendation here. But that's fine, you can ignore this. And the nerval temperament means the person is idealistic, and they have great analytical ability, and mostly they are creative, and they have great intuition, good at thinking and imagination, bad at execution. Alright, oh sorry. And there we have this nutritive temperament, which is the round type. They have very strong communication skills, very good at dealing with the relationship in general. Strong instinctive desire, apparently this is not related to any job, and actively pursue wealth, that's fine. Status or power, usually rich, that's fine. Okay, so this is just a quick review of the three types, but in this session what I really want to talk about is you not only can divide the shape of the face or shape of the head into three types, you can also categorize the shape of the ear into three types. And for example, let's see, I'm going to show you one example. Who is better? No, this. Alright, that's fine. This. Bam. Alright. Let's take a look at the image. So he is the shape of the head or the face is it's not very clear. It's the combination of the osseous type and the nutritive temperament. Alright. So the shape of the face. Let me take this out. Where was that? Here. New. So this is kind of rectangular, and in the meantime, it's a little bit round. Well, this is not very clear. This is clear. Well, because it's just round, right? So he is the combination of the two types, the round type and the rectangular type, and he is mainly the rectangular type. Right. So, but his ears, look at his ear. I'm going to draw it out. We can also divide the ears into three types. We divide that into three sections. You see, the upper section, if the upper section is prominent, that means the ear belongs to the what was that? Ear belongs to the nerval temperament. Okay, if the upper section of the ear, we're going to show you some examples later. If the upper section of the ear is prominent, that belongs to the nerval temperament. If the middle section of the ear is prominent, then that's the osseous temperament. If the lower section of the ear is prominent, then that is nutritive temperament. And for him, apparently this, let me highlight that, this is very prominent, right? By prominent, I actually mean it's bigger, right? It's big. Okay. So his ear belongs to the type of nutritive temperament, and it's mainly nutritive temperament combined with some osseous temperament for the ear. So this is called a normal combination of the ear and the face. All right. So because the ear and the face belong to the same type, and when they belong to the same type, the characters that are represented by these types will be intensified, and more importantly, will be intensified. And let me show you one more example. I just recall him, Coolidge. All right, let's see. Good. All right, so him. Well, this is very, very cute. All right, that's fine. We're not gonna see the kids. Show the kids. Let's look at this. Okay. One more example. So for the face is broad forehead, right? And it's not exactly a inverse triangle. So he is the combination of the nerval temperament and the osseous temperament, right? It's the combination of the rectangular type and triangular type. And for his ear, if you look at his ear, the upper side is very prominent, and the upper section is very prominent. The middle section is prominent too, and the lower section is not prominent at all. So for him, the ear also belongs to the osseous type and the nerval type. So the ear and the face belong to the same type. So the characters represented by the two types will be intensified. So if he has a broad and high forehead, great analytical capabilities, and this prominent upper side of the ear, even greater, right? So that is called the normal combination. And sometimes we have this abnormal combinations. It's also very very common. It's also very common. For example, let's see. How about him? Greenspan. I'm gonna find a younger. Yeah, this. All right. Look. Ah, that's when he is young. All right. Okay. So the shape of the face is osseous temperament, right? It's rectangular. A little bit, because with this broad forehead, that's a little bit nerval temperament, a little bit of triangular type, but mostly more 90%, 80% to 90%, that's the osseous temperament. How do you get 80%, 90%? Well, it's just an estimation, right? But for the ear, it's very apparent that his ear is nerval temperament, right? That's nerval temperament because the upper section is very, very prominent, right? The upper set, and as it goes down, when you see the middle section and the lower section, it gets smaller and smaller, right? The upper section is very, very prominent, so the ear is the nerval temperament. And the face of the shape is, the shape of the face is the osseous temperament, right? So that's a different combination of the two. So when they have different combination of the two, the person is usually more balanced. And what's more important is the ear usually represents, so the shape of the face or the shape of the head usually represents the the outer characters, and the ear usually represent the inner characters. So by inner characters, I don't know if that's the correct word, but by inner characters, inner characters or inner personalities actually mean the character or personality that are not easily recognizable, that are not easily recognized by other people, and it's basically hidden. And usually the ear can indicate a person's true intentions and capabilities. So that's what we call the abnormal combination. Abnormal doesn't mean the person is abnormal. It just means, you know, it's not the normal combination. Okay, so I'm not sure if I'm gonna give you more examples on this because it's already 10 minutes. Let's see. Let's see a Chinese person. Let's see. Sometimes, you know, you are not going to. You're not going to. Yeah, this I believe is a normal combination, because apparently the face. Yeah, the face is osseous temperament, and the ear. Well, the ear. It's not very clear. The ear is. Yeah, the face is the rectangular type. It's the osseous temperament, and the ear is kind of a combination of the osseous temperament and nerval temperament. All right, so sometimes, and not sometimes, and most of the case, it's not very easy to tell what type of the ear is. If it's not easy to tell, if it's not very clear, what you do is you just don't tell. That's the very important rule in face reading. Let's see if this is better. No better, but it looks like the ear is. It looks like the ear is more. It's more like a osseous temperament, but that's fine. It's not very easy to tell. If it's not very easy to tell, just don't tell. That's a very important rule in face reading. It's you just tell the features that are significant or easily identified. Then that would be more accurate in doing face reading. Okay, so no more examples. So we are gonna talk about some books. Because I should have talked about this in the first session of the class of the series, but I just forget it. So the books, the number one, the top physiognomy books is this. Well, it's in Chinese. It's written in Chinese, but that is fine. I'm gonna in this class, lots of the materials are from this book. I'm going to translate that into. It's not written in modern Chinese, so I'm going to translate that into modern Chinese, and then I'm going to translate this modern Chinese in English. So no need to worry about that. We're going to cover lots of the material in this book. It's very good book, and the author is a. This is the author. The author is a very famous politician and military strategist in Qing Dynasty. So the material in this book is very practical, and the person is a very active practitioner of face reading. So I believe that's the top one book in face reading. There is another one. We call that. Yeah, that's actually a book written in English. New Physiognomy. Let's see if. I think it's this one. It's not very clear. It's written by. Oh, where was that? New Physiognomy. Yeah, it's written by Samuel Wells. Okay, this is a classic. This is a classic face reading books. I have a hard copy of that. I forget how I got the hard copy. I probably bought that in Amazon. But this is a classic, very good book in face reading. Some of the materials, I would say not some, lots of the materials in this book have already been outdated, but there's a Chinese version of this book with the same name. It's actually the exact verbal translation of the name of the type, name of the book. They actually have some. This is the Chinese version of the book. Yeah, that's the Chinese version of the book, and they actually update some of the materials in that English version. Both are very good. So okay, that's the 3 books that I recommend in learning face reading. And alright, I don't have time for the third topic. We're going to cover the third topic in the next class, and in the next session we're going to discuss the application of 5-element theory in face reading.